Many people spend their entire working lives believing that a successful retirement is measured by one number, the size of a bank account. They imagine that once a certain financial goal is reached, peace will naturally follow. Yet reality often tells a different story. There are retirees with significant savings who still wake up every morning burdened by worry, constantly calculating what they might lose, fearing unexpected expenses, or wondering whether they have enough to last the rest of their lives. At the same time, there are others with far more modest resources who experience a deep sense of contentment because they have learned a truth that cannot be found on a financial statement. They understand that money can provide comfort, but it cannot create purpose. It can buy convenience, but it cannot replace meaning. A fulfilling retirement is built not only on financial preparation, but also on emotional resilience, strong relationships, and the ability to embrace a new chapter of life with openness instead of fear. One of the greatest challenges retirement presents is the sudden absence of a role that has defined you for decades. For years, your schedule was organized around responsibilities, deadlines, and expectations. Your profession may have shaped how others saw you, but more importantly, it may have shaped how you saw yourself. When that role disappears, many people experience an unexpected emptiness. They begin asking questions they never had time to consider before. Who am I without my job? What gives my life value now? What should I wake up for tomorrow? These questions cannot be answered by a monthly benefit or an investment portfolio. They require honest reflection and the willingness to redefine success on your own terms. This is why emotional preparation is just as important as financial planning. A person who enters retirement with curiosity, gratitude, and a willingness to grow often adapts more successfully than someone who enters with only a large savings account. Retirement is not simply about stopping work, it is about creating a life that still feels meaningful. It is an opportunity to strengthen relationships that were neglected during busy working years, to reconnect with family, to mentor younger generations, to volunteer to learn new skills, or to rediscover passions that were set aside in pursuit of a career. These experiences provide a sense of fulfillment that no paycheck ever could. Equally important is learning to appreciate enough instead of constantly chasing more. Modern culture often teaches people to compare themselves with others, measuring success through possessions or financial status. Retirement offers a rare chance to step away from that endless competition. It invites you to recognize that peace often comes from simplifying rather than accumulating. A quiet morning, a meaningful conversation, good health, and the freedom to spend your time according to your own values become treasures that many people overlooked during their working years. True confidence in retirement comes from balance. Financial responsibility provides stability, but emotional strength provides freedom. When you cultivate gratitude, maintain close relationships, stay physically active, continue learning, and find ways to contribute to others, your sense of security no longer depends entirely on the amount deposited into your account each month. Instead, it grows from the knowledge that your life still has direction and significance. In the end, the most successful retirement is not defined by how much wealth you accumulated, but by whether you have created a life filled with purpose, dignity, connection, and inner peace. Those qualities continue to grow long after a career has ended, making them the richest investment anyone can carry into the later years of life. One of the greatest surprises many people encounter after retirement is not the absence of a paycheck, but the discovery that life often costs far more than they expected. During their working years, retirement can appear deceptively simple. People imagine fewer daily expenses, less commuting, and a slower pace of life. They assume that because they are no longer supporting a career, their financial needs will naturally shrink. While some expenses do decrease, others quietly grow, and many retirees find themselves facing costs they never fully anticipated. These hidden expenses become especially challenging when living primarily on a fixed monthly income, making careful planning more important than ever. Healthcare is perhaps the most significant of these hidden costs. As people grow older, medical needs naturally increase. Routine checkups become more frequent, prescription medications may become part of daily life, and unexpected illnesses or surgeries can arise without warning. Even with insurance, deductibles, co-payments, specialized treatments, dental care, vision services, hearing aids, and long-term care can place considerable strain on a retirement budget. Many people underestimate how quickly these expenses can accumulate, believing that good health today guarantees lower medical costs tomorrow. Unfortunately, aging rarely follows predictable schedules, and one unexpected diagnosis can alter years of financial planning. Inflation creates another challenge that often goes unnoticed until it has already affected daily life. Prices rarely rise dramatically overnight. Instead, they increase slowly and consistently, making the changes seem almost invisible at first. A grocery bill that once felt manageable gradually becomes noticeably larger. Utility costs climb, fuel becomes more expensive, insurance premiums increase, and everyday necessities demand a greater share of the monthly budget. Because these changes occur gradually, many retirees fail to recognize how significantly inflation erodes purchasing power over time. A fixed monthly income that feels adequate during the first years of retirement may become increasingly difficult to stretch as the years pass. Housing expenses also remain a major source of financial pressure, even after a mortgage has been paid off. Property taxes may continue to rise, homeowners insurance can become more expensive, and routine maintenance never truly disappears. Roofs need replacement, plumbing develops leaks, heating and cooling systems eventually fail, and appliances wear out. For those who rent, annual rent increases may steadily consume a larger portion of their monthly income. Many retirees are surprised to discover that the place they expected to provide stability continues to demand significant financial resources. Daily living expenses deserve equal attention because they often appear harmless when viewed individually. Food prices fluctuate, transportation costs continue, even if commuting ends. Clothing still needs replacing, and communication services such as internet and mobile phones have become essential rather than optional. Home repairs, gifts for family members, travel to visit loved ones, and participation in community activities all contribute to a retirement budget that may be far more active than expected. Small purchases made regularly can quietly add up, creating financial pressure that seems to come from nowhere. Unexpected emergencies present perhaps the greatest financial challenge because they cannot be scheduled or predicted. A vehicle may require major repairs, a household appliance may suddenly fail, or a family member may need assistance during a difficult period. These situations often demand immediate financial decisions, leaving little time to adjust a carefully planned budget. Without an emergency fund or additional financial resources, retirees may find themselves forced to reduce essential spending or rely on debt to cover unexpected costs. Beyond the financial burden lies an emotional one. Living with constant concern about whether the monthly income will cover every expense can gradually affect peace of mind. Decisions that once felt simple, such as visiting friends, enjoying a hobby, or taking a short trip, may become sources of anxiety. Instead of experiencing retirement as a season of freedom, some individuals begin measuring every choice against the fear of running out of money. This persistent worry can diminish the joy that retirement is meant to bring. Recognizing these hidden costs is not an invitation to fear the future, but an opportunity to approach it with greater awareness. Retirement is not simply about replacing a paycheck. It is about understanding how life continues to evolve after work ends. By anticipating rising healthcare needs, preparing for inflation, planning for home maintenance, accounting for daily living expenses, and building a cushion for unexpected emergencies, retirees place themselves in a stronger position to face the years ahead with confidence rather than uncertainty. Awareness transforms surprises into manageable challenges and allows financial planning to become a source of stability instead of stress. One of the most overlooked aspects of retirement is that financial insecurity rarely begins in a bank account. It begins in the mind long before a person runs out of money. They often begin to imagine what life would look like if they did. This anticipation of loss creates a quiet but persistent anxiety that follows them through their days. They check their account balances more frequently, hesitate before making ordinary purchases, and question decisions that once felt effortless. The fear itself can become more exhausting than the actual financial situation. It slowly transforms retirement from a season of freedom into a period dominated by uncertainty where every dollar spent feels like a step closer to an invisible edge. Human beings are naturally wired to seek security throughout life. Earning a steady paycheck provides more than financial stability. It offers psychological reassurance. Every pay period confirms that resources will continue to arrive. Retirement changes that rhythm completely. Instead of money coming in through work, people begin relying on savings, pensions, or monthly benefits that often feel limited and finite. Even when their finances are relatively stable, many retirees experience an uncomfortable feeling that they are moving in only one direction, toward depletion. This perception can create emotional stress regardless of the actual numbers in their accounts. The fear of financial insecurity is closely connected to the fear of losing control. During working years, There is usually a sense that problems can be solved by earning more, working overtime, seeking a promotion, or finding another job. Retirement removes many of those options. Suddenly, unexpected expenses cannot always be balanced by additional income. This loss of flexibility creates vulnerability, and vulnerability often gives birth to anxiety. The mind begins preparing for worst-case scenarios, imagining illnesses, emergencies, inflation, or economic downturns. These thoughts become repetitive, making it difficult to enjoy the present because attention remains fixed on an uncertain future. Financial fear also affects personal identity in ways many people do not expect. For decades, work may have provided not only income but also confidence and self-worth. Being able to support oneself and one's family becomes part of how people define themselves. Retirement can quietly challenge that identity. Some individuals begin to feel dependent. Even when they have planned responsibly, they worry about becoming a burden on their children or losing the independence they valued throughout their life. These fears are often deeper than concerns about money itself. They reflect a longing to remain capable, respected, and in control of one's own future. Another psychological trap is comparison. Retirement provides more free time, but it also creates more opportunities to compare one's financial situation with others. A neighbor travels frequently, a friend buys a new home, or former coworkers appear to enjoy a lifestyle that seems out of reach. Social media intensifies this tendency by presenting carefully selected moments of success while hiding financial struggles behind the scenes. Constant comparison quietly convinces people that they are falling behind, even when their own needs are fully met. Instead of appreciating what they have, they begin measuring themselves against lives they only partially understand. Fear has a remarkable ability to distort reality. A person with sufficient savings may behave as though they have nothing, avoiding experiences that could bring happiness because they are consumed by the possibility of future hardship. They postpone visiting family, decline invitations, abandon hobbies, or refuse necessary home repairs, believing every expense threatens their security. Ironically, this attempt to protect the future can diminish the quality of the present. Retirement becomes an exercise in preservation rather than a time of meaningful living. This does not mean financial concerns should be ignored or dismissed. Practical planning remains essential. Creating a realistic budget, maintaining an emergency fund, reducing unnecessary debt, and seeking professional financial advice when needed are wise steps that strengthen confidence. Yet emotional preparation is equally important. Learning to distinguish between realistic caution and constant fear allows retirees to make thoughtful decisions instead of emotionally driven ones. Peace of mind grows when preparation replaces uncertainty and confidence develops through understanding rather than assumption. Ultimately, the greatest challenge is not simply protecting financial resources, but protecting one's inner stability. Money provides comfort, but a calm and disciplined mind determines how that comfort is experienced. A retiree who approaches life with gratitude, realistic expectations, and emotional resilience often feels wealthier than someone with greater financial resources but endless anxiety. When fear no longer controls every decision, retirement becomes more than a period of financial management. It becomes an opportunity to live with freedom, dignity, and the quiet confidence that true security begins within. Many people enter retirement believing that if they can simply pay their bills each month, they have achieved success. While meeting basic financial needs is certainly important, there is a profound difference between surviving and truly living. Survival is concerned with avoiding loss, while living is concerned with experiencing meaning. A person can have enough money to cover food, housing, utilities, and health care, yet still feel emotionally empty. On the other hand, someone with a modest income may experience deep satisfaction because they have discovered that a fulfilling life is built on far more than financial security. Retirement offers the opportunity to move beyond the constant pursuit of earning a living and begin exploring what it truly means to live well. During most of adult life, work determines the rhythm of each day. There are schedules to follow, goals to achieve, responsibilities to fulfill, and people who depend on your efforts. Without realizing it, many individuals become so accustomed to this structure that they mistake activity for purpose. When retirement arrives, the calendar suddenly becomes open, and what once felt like freedom can slowly become uncertainty. The question is no longer, what do I have to do today? But rather, what do I want to do today? That simple change can feel surprisingly difficult because choosing your own direction requires a different kind of wisdom than following the demands of a career. Many retirees discover that they spent decades postponing the parts of themselves that had nothing to do with work. They delayed learning an instrument, writing a book, painting, gardening, traveling, volunteering, or simply spending long afternoons with family because there was always another deadline to meet. Retirement removes many of those external pressures, creating space for forgotten dreams to return. These interests may seem small compared to a successful career, yet they often provide a deeper and more lasting sense of fulfillment because they arise from genuine curiosity rather than obligation. Relationships also take on new importance during this stage of life. While careers often consume time and attention, retirement offers the chance to reconnect with people who matter most. Conversations become longer, visits with grandchildren become more frequent, and friendships have room to grow. Genuine human connection provides emotional nourishment that cannot be purchased. Studies in life experience consistently show that people who maintain strong social relationships often report greater happiness and resilience as they age. Feeling valued by others and having opportunities to contribute to their lives creates a sense of purpose that extends far beyond financial success. There is also great value in continuing to grow. Retirement should not be mistaken for the end of personal development. In many ways, it marks the beginning of a different kind of education. Some people take classes simply because they enjoy learning. Others discover new technologies, study history, explore philosophy, or develop practical skills they never had time to pursue. The human mind thrives on curiosity, and remaining mentally engaged helps create a sense of vitality that enriches everyday life. Growth reminds us that age does not limit the ability to learn. It simply changes the reasons for learning. One of the greatest gifts retirement can offer is the freedom to slow down without feeling guilty. Modern life often rewards constant business, encouraging people to believe that their worth depends on how productive they are. Retirement quietly challenges this belief. It teaches that a peaceful morning walk, reading a meaningful book, watching the sunrise, or sharing a meal with loved ones can hold as much value as years spent chasing promotions or meeting deadlines. These ordinary moments become extraordinary because they are experienced with attention rather than haste. Living fully also requires accepting that life will never be completely free of uncertainty. Health may change, unexpected expenses may arise, and circumstances may shift without warning. Yet focusing exclusively on protecting against every possible difficulty can prevent people from enjoying the years they worked so hard to reach. Balance is essential. Financial responsibility provides stability, but emotional openness allows life to remain rich and meaningful. Retirement is not merely about preserving resources. It is about using time wisely, appreciating relationships deeply, and embracing experiences that nourish the spirit. The richest retirement is not measured solely by the amount of money left in an account at the end of each month. It is measured by laughter shared with loved ones, moments of quiet gratitude, opportunities to help others, and the satisfaction of knowing that each day reflects your deepest values. When life is guided by purpose instead of fear, retirement becomes far more than the absence of work. It becomes the freedom to live intentionally, to cultivate joy in simple moments, and to recognize that true wealth is found not only in financial security, but in the quality of the life you choose to create. Many people believe that stretching a Social Security check requires extraordinary sacrifices or complicated financial strategies. In reality, the habits that have the greatest impact are often the simplest. Retirement is not always about earning more money. It is frequently about using the money you already have with greater intention. Small, consistent decisions made over months and years can create remarkable financial stability. These habits may not seem exciting, but they quietly shape the difference between constantly worrying about expenses and feeling confident that your resources will last. One of the most valuable habits is learning to distinguish between needs and wants. During working years, higher income often allows people to purchase conveniences without much thought. Daily coffee from a cafe, frequent restaurant meals, subscription services, impulse shopping, or upgrading perfectly functional items become part of everyday life. Retirement invites a different perspective. It encourages people to ask a simple but powerful question before every purchase. Does this truly improve my life? This question is not about denying yourself enjoyment. It is about ensuring that every dollar serves a meaningful purpose rather than disappearing through unconscious habits. Creating and following a realistic budget is another powerful practice. Many people associate budgeting with restriction, but in retirement it becomes a tool for freedom. Knowing exactly how much is spent on housing, groceries, healthcare, transportation, insurance, and leisure removes uncertainty. Instead of wondering where the money went at the end of each month, retirees gain clarity and control. A well-planned budget also makes it easier to prepare for seasonal expenses or unexpected costs without creating unnecessary stress. The goal is not perfection, but awareness, because awareness naturally leads to wiser decisions. Reducing unnecessary debt can dramatically improve financial security during retirement. Monthly payments for credit cards, personal loans, or high-interest debt quietly reduce the income available for everyday living. Every payment made toward interest is money that cannot be used for healthcare, travel, hobbies, or time with family. Entering retirement with as little debt as possible provides greater flexibility and reduces the emotional burden that often accompanies financial obligations. Living within one's means becomes easier when fewer financial commitments compete for limited resources. Housing choices also play an important role in making retirement income last longer. Many retirees remain in homes that were perfect for raising a family, but become expensive and difficult to maintain later in life. Downsizing is often viewed as giving something up, yet for many people it becomes an opportunity to simplify life. A smaller home may reduce maintenance costs, utility bills, property taxes, and insurance expenses, while also requiring less physical effort to care for. Simplifying one's living space can create both financial relief and greater peace of mind. Another valuable habit is preparing meals at home more often. While dining out is enjoyable and certainly has its place, regular home cooking usually costs us far less and often supports better health. Planning meals, shopping with a list, and reducing food waste help stretch every dollar without sacrificing nutrition. These everyday decisions may seem minor, but repeated consistently over the course of a year, they can produce meaningful savings while encouraging healthier routines. Maintaining good health is perhaps one of the most overlooked financial habits. Regular exercise, balanced nutrition, sufficient sleep, and preventive medical care not only improve quality of life, but may also reduce future healthcare expenses. While no one can completely avoid illness, taking care of the body increases the likelihood of remaining active and independent for longer. Health and financial stability are more connected than many people realize, because staying well often means avoiding costly treatments and maintaining the ability to enjoy retirement fully. Flexibility is another habit that strengthens financial resilience. Prices change, unexpected expenses arise, and personal circumstances evolve over time. People who are willing to adjust their spending, explore community resources, seek senior discounts, or find creative ways to enjoy life without excessive cost often adapt more successful than those who resist change. Retirement rewards those who remain open-minded rather than rigid in their expectations. Perhaps the most important habit of all is cultivating gratitude. Gratitude changes the way people experience what they already have. Instead of constantly focusing on what is missing, grateful individuals recognize the abundance that still surrounds them. Time with loved ones, good conversations, meaningful activities, and the freedom to shape each day according to their own values. This mindset does not eliminate financial challenges, but it prevents the endless pursuit of more from overshadowing the joy of enough. Over time, these practical and emotional habits work together, allowing Social Security to go further, not simply because expenses are reduced, but because life itself becomes richer through intentional choices rather than constant consumption. Relying on a single source of income in retirement can create a quiet sense of vulnerability. Even if that income arrives consistently every month, there is often an underlying fear that one unexpected event could disrupt carefully made plans. This is why true financial security is rarely built upon one foundation alone. It is created by combining multiple forms of support that work together, each strengthening the others. While Social Security may serve as an essential part of retirement income, viewing it as the entire solution places tremendous pressure on something that was never designed to carry every financial responsibility. Lasting confidence comes from creating several layers of protection, allowing one source to compensate when another faces unexpected challenges. Savings are often the first layer of that protection. Even modest savings can make a remarkable difference because they provide flexibility. A broken water heater, unexpected medical bill, major car repair, or emergency travel expense no longer has to disrupt the monthly budget completely. Instead of relying on credit cards or borrowing from family members, retirees with emergency savings have the freedom to respond calmly. The amount is less important than the habit of preparing in advance. Every dollar set aside represents a small act of respect for the future, acknowledging that uncertainty is not something to fear, but something to prepare for wisely. For those fortunate enough to receive a pension, it becomes another valuable source of stability. Unlike savings, which gradually decrease when used, a pension often provides a predictable stream of income that works alongside Social Security. Together, these sources reduce dependence on any single payment and create greater financial resilience. Even though traditional pensions have become less common, those who have access to one often experience greater confidence because they know their retirement income comes from more than one place. Personal investments can also contribute to long-term security when managed responsibly. Retirement accounts, dividend-paying investments, or other carefully planned financial assets may provide additional income that supplements monthly benefits. The goal is not to pursue unnecessary risk, but to allow resources accumulated over many years to continue supporting life after employment ends. Thoughtful investing is less about chasing extraordinary returns and more about preserving purchasing power and creating sustainable income over time. Some retirees also discover that part-time work offers benefits extending far beyond the paycheck itself. Working a few hours each week, consulting in a familiar field, teaching a skill, or pursuing a small business built around personal interests can provide additional income while maintaining social interaction and mental engagement. For many people, part-time work is not a sign that retirement has failed. Instead, it reflects the desire to remain active, useful, and connected while easing financial pressure. Having the choice to work because you want to, rather than because you must, creates a very different emotional experience. Another often overlooked source of security is reducing financial obligations before retirement begins, eliminating high-interest debt, paying off major loans when possible, and simplifying monthly expenses effectively increases available income without requiring additional earnings. Every recurring expense removed from the budget creates more room for essential needs and unexpected situations. Sometimes increasing financial security has less to do with earning more and more to do with needing less. Strong relationships also represent a form of security that cannot be measured in dollars. Family members, trusted friends, supportive neighbors, and community organizations often provide assistance, encouragement, and practical help during difficult times. Emotional support reduces stress, while shared resources, advice, or occasional assistance can prevent small challenges from becoming overwhelming crises. People remain socially connected, frequently navigate retirement with greater confidence because they know they are not facing life's uncertainties alone. Knowledge itself becomes another valuable resource. Understanding personal finances, recognizing available community programs, taking advantage of senior discounts, reviewing insurance coverage, and staying informed about retirement planning all strengthen financial stability. The more informed a retiree becomes, the more confidently they can make decisions that protect their future. Uncertainty often creates fear, but education replaces uncertainty with understanding. Ultimately, real security is not found in depending completely on one monthly check. No matter how reliable it may seem, it grows from thoughtful preparation, diversified resources, healthy financial habits, meaningful relationships, and the willingness to adapt as life changes. Retirement is a journey filled with unexpected moments, both joyful and challenging. Those who build multiple forms of support create more than financial stability. They create peace of mind. That peace comes from knowing they have prepared not only for the life they hope to enjoy, but also for the uncertainties that every future inevitably brings. A successful retirement is often imagined as the moment when financial worries finally disappear. Many people spend decades believing that if they can accumulate enough money, everything else will naturally fall into place. While financial preparation is undeniably important, it is only one part of a much larger picture. Retirement is not simply the end of a career, it is the beginning of a completely different relationship with time, purpose, and identity. The people who thrive during these years are rarely those who focused only on building wealth. They are the ones who also invested in themselves, their relationships, and their ability to find meaning beyond a paycheck. For most of adult life, work provides a clear sense of direction. Every weekday has a purpose. There are meetings to attend, problems to solve, and responsibilities that shape the rhythm of life. Without realizing it, many people begin to measure their worth